and welcome back to Unapologetically Black and Fast, a 4-day celebration of Black joy and speedrunning. I am Mocha Jones 10, and we are getting ready for our final run of the night. We have Junior running the SSX Trilogy. We talked about Sonic not being in Sonic 3 and snowboarding. We're going to see a whole bunch of snowboarding here in a sec. So, real quick, again, if you have missed any of the runs that's happened over the weekend or any shows or events, be sure to check out the VODs on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/GameSunQuick. And if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to press that like button on the video and subscribe to that channel. So, Junior, take it away.
Alrighty. Hi. As you heard, I'm Junior, and I'm going to be going through the first 3 games in the SSX trilogy. Probably the most popular ones. The original SSX Tricky and SSX 3. I'm kind of combining all of the RTA categories, like the main RTA categories of them each, into like one big trilogy run. So you'll see me do like what's SSX OG, as I'll call it, all race golds, SSX Tricky, all races, no wormholes, and then I'll go to SSX 3 all peak race back to back. I'm just going to use Zoe for like all of them, part because she's like one of the optimal characters in 2 out of 3, and part because she's just a fun character and I like her, so why not? Alrighty, I'm ready to give the countdown now. So 3, 2, 1, start. So these games are, as you heard, like they're arcade racing games that were like on the PS2 and among other consoles. You'll see lots of, like, especially in the first game, OG and Tricky, you'll see lots of, like, me holding straight lines and, like, doing tricks because, like, what you'll find throughout the entire series is that tricks equals boost and boost equals speed. So I'm going to be doing lots of tricks like these so I can maintain red boost as much as I can. That's alright. This first game, SSX OG, doesn't have any Uber tricks, which you might be familiar with in Tricky and 3. So I'll just be like consistently doing tricks in order to build my boost back up and maintain red boost as long as I can while holding straight lines. Because that's a way to like maintain 74 miles per hour, essentially maximum velocity. Alright. So you see there are like quite a few different terrains. There's like powder that I'm going through right now that your board kind of sinks into, so you kind of have to like do some hopping and some bunny hopping to get out of. There's the standard like groomed snow that just acts as like it's pretty like it's just standard terrain, and then there's ice which accelerates you a little bit, whereas like powder like takes some of your speed. Ice helps you accelerate a little faster. Alright, cool. So that was Snow Dream, the first track. What you'll find in like both SSX OG and Tricky is that it's like a world circuit type thing where they're going through all the tracks like all across the world essentially. And like since it's an arcade style game, it's just like utterly ridiculous. Like wilder than life style like track design. Alright, every time I finish a track I'm gonna have to go back to the main menu in this game specifically since you can't choose other tracks like outside of the main menu. So I'll be like menuing out, like going back to the main menu after each track. Next is Elysium Alps. This one is like the longest track in the game actually. It's this one takes place in France. It's like probably the first track in this run that like introduces select warps, which you're about to see in a second. It's when I go to like an optimal like spot to like kind of like be like sent forward, and then I'll hit the select button, which it's a reset button in case I accidentally like make mistakes or enter areas that like I can't escape. But here I'm going to use it to just like skip ahead like that. Now this track I've done a lot. I've done a lot. So I'm like very comfortable on it despite it being like the longest one. I will say there's a little bit of like empty time in it as well, just because there's like a lot of straightaways, mostly near the end. Oh, that's alright.
Gee, I want to say, I did not know you could go off the track in OG.
Yep, you can in every game. Like, most, like, if you see, like, the SSX class especially, that's where the, like, off-track shortcuts mainly reside. And those are, like, a serious staple. Like, I'm doing lots of, like, bunny hops, like, there, like, to help me maintain my max speed, and then I'm gonna tap boost here, which is when I'm already at the max speed I can feasibly reach. I just start tapping the boost button, and when I do that, I conserve my boost while also like still maintaining my max speed. And then I get to do another warp there. And then from here it's a little bit of platforming actually. I'm just going through these upper paths and I just have to navigate it. So something I did not mention about this game, specifically OG, is that, you know, it was the first game. It's like got a little bit of rough areas, like, and one of the main things that's like not perfectly refined are like the rails. You'll see me get like 10 rails or something like that. That's usually when, okay, cool. That was a force warp where I just kind of broke through the crowd and then went super far forward. That isn't even intentional at all. Let me just nail this warp. But yeah, the rails in this game can be a little janky. They can sometimes, like, here, let me go and cross the other side. They can sometimes have insanely big hitboxes when it doesn't seem like it. Or they can, like, hit you in really weird ways that you would never, like, think of. It's just kind of, like, getting used to it is kind of, like, part of the learning curve of this game. Now, since there's a long straightaway here, this is where I get to use tap boosting in order to conserve all the red boosts I have. Now I'm going to... Oh. That was weird, but that is still largely what I was going for. I was just going to skip through that big loop-de-loop. Alright. And that's OG Elysium Alps. Now, next up is Mercury City Meltdown, and this track and its iteration in SSX Tricky are quite big bottlenecks in like runs like these because they've got like really, really valuable time saves that are also pretty difficult to nail consistently. I'm gonna do my best. It's about like 40-50 seconds, really 50 seconds into this track. There's a side upper pathway through a bunch of like rooftops and like in through buildings, and it is very tight and kind of like structured in a way that is like isn't exactly easy to flow into itself. So something I did not mention is that this game has like a little start boost at the gate. If you like rock your border forward at the right timing, which is actually different for each character because they all go like move back and forward through the gates slightly differently. If you like go at the right speed, like at the right timing, I should say, then you get propelled forward very far. Alright.
I did not know about that middle path right there either.
Yeah, there are lots of areas in these games that like you learn more about the more like you play them. Like I learned more about these maps, especially SSX 3 as I'm still learning it. I learn more about these maps like every time I play them. Alright, this is the tough part, so I'm gonna shush for a bit. Not quite. That area has a lot of like little areas where it can like kind of like screw you over, and in that instance I just had my jump in, which is alright. I'm just going to see if I can... Alright. This still leads to the area that the rail would have taken me. I would be surprised if anyone watching knew about that little area if they played this game. There, like I said, so many areas of these maps are like very well hidden, and like you only learn more about them if you play them a lot.
So what got you in the SSX speedrunning?
That's a good question. Well, honestly, like, I got started on it on a whim since, like, before, like, I used to, like, speedrun a little bit of, like, Crash Team Racing, like, the PS1 one, like, very casually. So I already knew I liked racing games as speed games. And then I just remembered, wait, this is a series I, like, loved a lot when I was younger. And it was, like, one of my favorites. So I just kind of, like, looked at, like, namely the SSX OG leaderboard once, and I saw it was a little bit underfilled at the time because like most of the people who played were like mostly playing Tricky or 3, and then I was just like, you know what, maybe I can help fill it out a little bit, and then from there it was just kind of like the rest is history. I'm going to shout out Kelly Cat real quick, another SSX player, probably the overall best one. It's taught me like largely everything I know, like most I know, I should say, and like has also like been a rival for me when I've been like grinding a lot of these tracks, and like especially when I was like doing world record grinds with Kelly, like we would go back and forth a lot, and it was a lot of fun. It helped me improve a lot, I must say. I see someone in chat mentioning the SSX arcade machine, so I have to, like, yeah, I know about that. The plug and play, I should say specifically. There is a little plug and play of SSX Tricky that exists. That's like a real board. I've seen it around. I've never owned it, so I've never played it, unfortunately. That's one of the few SSX, like, games I've not touched before. The plug and play.
Also, I've been in an arcade with the machine, and it's a wild time.
I bet. Oh, since I did not introduce this track, this is Mesa Blanca. For those people who like the like Wild West aesthetic, this one's for you, essentially. Oops. That's alright. Yep, you see 10 rail? That's essentially OG for you. And it's the 50-50 rail section. Oh. Not quite. Oh. It still sent me to where I needed to go, actually, so not really a mistake at all. And now I have to cut through these trees right here. There we go. Alright. Yeah, this track is very dynamic. And it has like a lot of like all the rocks and like whatnot, like the environment make it like very easy for you to like bail out, hit a tree, hit a rock, or something, lose all your speed. So you have to be very careful. Alright. But we're near the end right here. I'm just going to get off this rail. These speed boosts are like, they don't actually like make you go any faster than the maximum speed of 74 miles an hour. But what they do offer is that they increase your acceleration. They increase your acceleration so that reaching 74 miles an hour if you're holding straight is a lot easier. So for that, they're very good. Very, very good.
I gotta ask, what's your favorite course in each game? And then your favorite course overall?
I think that we're approaching one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Actually, no. This is like probably my second favorite in this game. Tokyo Megaplex right here. This one is probably like my second favorite. You don't get to see Untracked, which is my favorite because like that's not part of like any percent or like all race golds in OG. That one I like a lot because it's just like entirely unmapped, full powder track with like one of my favorite songs in the entire series in it, like as its backdrop. But this track I adore because it's literally massive pinball machine. And I mean that literally. Like, you are riding through a massive pinball machine. This fan brings you upwards, and then you ride around in a circle. And this track has also the unique property that it is the only track with laps in this game. Because, like I said, you go in a circle. You go around 3 times while all these moving parts, these fans, these bumpers, these doors, more sliding bumpers you'll see in a second, all of them are just kind of operating on randomized cycles. Alright. Yeah, like those doors and bumpers and whatnot, like all of those are like random cycles. You have to like adjust and adapt every time you like encounter them and essentially just try and go for like the path of least resistance. And while RNG can suck, I find that the like improvisation and like the improvisation and like the split second like decision making is like, really, really fun for me. I just do a select word for that fan so that I can just like go to the end of like a shortcut path that it would send me through. And then I also have only one other computer racer. It's always Hero for some reason. I cannot tell you why actually. But the reason for that is because as an RNG track, the more racers on this course, the more RNG will kind of get in the way. So I just go for like the least amount of other racers, which is just one other. I want like the buttons I push, like the ones to like send the bumpers down. Actually, I want those to like stay down. So let's see. Oh, I accidentally didn't get to jump, so that's alright. Yeah, unfortunately, Hero managed to hit the switch that raises those bumpers both laps. So I had to like make an effort to hit those switches again. But optimally, those bumpers will stay down, and then you kind of just get to cruise through it and hold a straight line and keep max speed. But yeah, that's essentially this track. This one's got a lot going on, and I kind of love the chaos. Alright, next up is Aloha Ice Gym. And once I'm done with this one, like once I cross the finish line, I'm going to, like once I see it says finish specifically, I'm going to reset my console and then swap to SSX Tricky, and then that's how I'll go about it from there. But this one actually, like Aloha Ice Jam, is another one of my favorites. I really do enjoy the track design in this game. It's probably my favorite in the series. This one actually has a skip. I like to call it the Kool-Aid Man because you're trying to break through a glass wall. And it's like really, really tight, and it's like not always consistent. And it's at the very, very beginning as well. So as a result of that, I like to give it a couple tries every time. my success rate was always the highest because her stats and like how much I've grinded with her. So not quite. I'll give it a couple tries.
Believe in you.
Hmm?
I believe in you.
Thank you.
That's the clay, man.
Not quite. I got a good lineup that time, but game didn't want to give it to me. I'll give it like 1 or 2 more tries. Yeah, okay. 1 more try, and if not, then I'll just accept it. Oh, there we go. So you break through right there, and then you warp, and then you get a couple different warp exits. I'm glad I stuck through it. It's very cool. It saves like 7 seconds. So it wasn't worth all the resets, but I don't care. I reset anyway because it's really cool, and I wanted to show it off.
That was pretty amazing.
Like, you can get better exits as well. Like, the best exits that you'll see, like, my PB and, like, Kellicat's world record have, they, like, literally push you out. Like, you literally get launched out of there, and it's really sick. Alright, now just the upper tiki paths here. And then we're about to be done with OG. There we go.
Alright, so what are you looking forward to in Tricky other than the music and the courses?
Shoot, hold on. Okay, good. I got bonked in a way that screwed up my lineup for a select warp, which kind of screwed me a little. Now, honestly, what I'm most looking forward to is... That's a good question. Here. I feel like I'm looking forward to seeing the enhanced graphics and also feeling the enhanced like gameplay as well. There we go. Tricky overall is like more refined. It has a lot more like little quality of life, like allowing you to rotate your board to finish spins and flips and whatnot. It's got Uber tricks, you know, it's got Run DMC. It's got some incredible track design in its own right. I think that Garibaldi and Mercury City in this game are like really, really well designed tracks, especially. Even if Mercury City is also really difficult. But yeah, the Tricky is it's very different, but also very much the same. It actually takes place a year after OG, like canonically, since like these games are all like within their own universe essentially, and they have their own like time essentially. Like this game takes place a year after the original, and then SSX 3 takes place like 2 or 3 years after. I'm completely forgetting right now. The chat might be able to correct me. I knew it before, but I'm blanking right now. Alrighty. So the big difference that Tricky has right here is you're going to see knockdowns, because now I'm actually able to like, I've been able to push other people, but I had no reason to in OG, but Tricky incentivizes it a little more by giving you a knockdown. It just gives you your like full boost meter, and you can use that to like instantly start building up your like letters for Tricky. Because the way this game works is, there we go. The way this game works is that you try to do 6 Uber tricks for like all the letters of Tricky, and then once you have that, you get infinite boosts for the rest of the track. So the idea is to get those 6 letters as fast as you can.
Remember playing this game like forever, just of Tricky playing in the background when I'm doing these tricks.
Yeah, it's kind of peak. You see me using lots of bunny hops here because I'm just kind of like cutting through all this powder, and now I've already got Tricky. So now I'm just going to be able to maintain my straight lines for like the entire rest of the track without having to worry about tricks or like anything like that. Something else this game has are like tweak cancels, which are essentially like if you do a trick, like say I'm doing these experiments right now and I stopped but I'm still gaining the points. What that was is because I hit the tweak button to like modify a trick to gain some more points, and I only hit that button for like a split second, maybe only a couple frames if that. And when you do that, it stops the trick, but like you still keep gaining points as if you were like holding it, and you can like kind of stack that and use that to like really easily gain boost back if you make a mistake or something like that. Alright, now I just have like one more warp here, and then this track here, Garibaldi, has I didn't get the optimal warp, that's alright, because it would have just sent me down here. But Garibaldi has like a glitch finish, which you'll see me do right here. I'm going to like go very hard off to the right, instead of just finishing the track as is. And now I'm just going to do this. And I finished much faster than if I went all the way down and around.
What?
Nope, and that's Garibaldi. Now what you'll find with Tricky is that they took all the tracks from OG and like some just got like little touch-ups. But like others, like Snow Dream, they basically got entire reworks and are entirely different tracks now.
Snow plus dreams equals snow dreams.
I see people like very happy about the cast of this game. Yeah, this does have the biggest cast of the original trilogy. And it's got like probably like some of the most like character like interaction and bickering and whatnot as well. So it's very like, you know, for an arcade game, it's got a lot of like good character writing, surprisingly. It's got like character interviews, like Q&As and whatnot. Like there's a lot done to make these people feel like people, even though you're just kind of doing utterly ridiculous stunts like this. Not quite. Accidentally did not land one of my Uber tricks, and that kind of screwed up the rest of them.
So which is the most forgiving game whenever you wipe out like that?
I'd say Tricky is definitely the most forgiving. Like, the reason for that is because unlike OG, like, it actually works. I'm kind of flubbing a little bit. That's alright. I would say, like, Tricky, like, actually, like, functions the most, which OG doesn't always. And then SSX 3 is like, it very much functions, but it's also got an intense learning curve because what you'll see soon is that it's simply like the hardest game. It's got like the most movement tech and it's got like a lot of depth, and like it gets to the point where like even like the way you're facing on a rail can like influence a lot like of like where you land and like how you land and all this and that. Okay, not the best Snow Dream, but that's alright. We moved.
Hey, we got through it. We got through it.
Yeah, we got through it. That's what's important. But like, despite I like in my opinion, 3 probably being like the most unforgiving, I think it's like it feels like when you're really like in it with 3, I think it probably feels the best to play because it is a game that legitimately just starts feeling better the better you get, and like you feel like you can kind of like when you're first starting, it feels really difficult to like pull your way out of tough spots, and then once you start like figuring out how to, you start like feeling a lot better about like both the game and your own like potential, and it's a really good feeling. All right. Oh, I'm 1 letter short, so I won't work here. There we go. Yeah, this track is one that's like, it looks very similar when you're like looking at it from the outside, but then like when you're actually riding on it, like the strats are like very different. Alrighty.
Trickiest one where that introduces rivalries, isn't it?
That's SSX 3. I mean, this one does introduce the concept of rivals, though. So there's at least that. Like, this one has like the system where you can, if you like knock down people enough, then you'll start like they'll start disliking you, essentially. Not quite. They'll essentially start disliking you, and like if they like start really like disliking you, then they will like actively throw the race in order to like make sure you don't win.
Now I remember the rival system and how incredible it was in a racing game. Wait, back then.
Yeah, definitely something that you don't see a lot of. Like even SSX 3, even like for what it does, introducing like the rival races and like the leaders of like each peak and whatnot, it doesn't have like the same type of like constant bickering that like this game does. All right. That was decent, EA, at least. And now next up is this game's version of Mesa Blanca. I actually think that like I enjoy OG Mesa Blanca, like I certainly do, but I think that like this one is a little bit better designed, like as a track. It's certainly a lot harder, like a lot harder. But I also think it's like kind of fun for that. This is actually one of the first tracks in this run, like in like tricky section of this run, I should say, that I do not need to get what's called. I don't need to get like all the letters of tricky. The reason being like the track is short enough and like the optimal routing, at least like for the route I'm taking, I just kind of don't need it. I can just use tweak cancels and whatnot, and I'm like good. Alright.
That was a long rail. Did you not fall?
Yeah, these games have ridiculous rails of many different sizes, shapes, and lengths. part of getting really good at these games is like really mastering rails, honestly. It's like I said, especially in 3, like goodness. All right.
Alright. I've been itching to ask is why Zoe?
Honestly, I kind of just chose her, like, because I was deciding. This is really silly. I was deciding between Zoe, Mac, and KR because they're all good choices, and then I was indecisive. So then I just spun a wheel and I got Zoe. But I was happy with that because she is like the best character in OG. Like she has the best stat spread, and she is like one of the optimal characters in SSX 3, and like even in SSX Tricky, while she isn't like optimal, she's still very good and like one of like the better characters. So like she was like a good enough choice that I could just use her for all the games and feel comfortable. All right, now time for Mercury City in this game.
Mercury City Meltdown. 50-50 round.
All right. Now, once again, I'm going to have to focus here because the beginning is a quite tough area. All right, just making sure to get that like Mercury like City tricky lineup. That can be tough sometimes. So getting it there is good, very good. All right, and now from here, I'm just going to warp.
Just sitting here in awe of this, just maneuvering up through all of this.
I mean, like, it feels so, like, good when you, like, really get, like, lost in it. Like, there'll be times where I'll just be, like, grinding and I'll just kind of, like, lose track of time because it's just, like, it's so easy to restart and it's just, like, I love how everything feels and it's just, like, I just keep going. I enjoy the series a lot. Alright, now there's a little UFO here. Just a funny little thing that, you know, if I go into it, it'll just let me skip like 20 seconds ahead. No big deal.
I remember hearing about the UFO, but never finding it. Because that's the UFO.
Sure is. Alright, now this part's quite difficult. I have to adapt to these windmills that are rotating on random cycles. And for some reason, the game just kind of pushed me to the left there. Some of the areas in this game can be a little funky. This game is overall much more refined than OG, but like there still might be bits and pieces that'll just like have you raise an eyebrow until you get used to it anyway. And now I'm going to go through this like underground sewer area. But I'm not actually going to go through all the way because I can just warp through like that.
I'm learning so much about a game that I used to play like 20 hours a week.
I'm glad to be the one to teach you. Alright. Now for this game's version, Tokyo Megaplex. This one, I mainly, like, you'll see, like, it's still, like, the same gimmicks and, like, same concept, but, like, the optimal route is much different because they completely redesigned it. So now, like, I have to, navigate the upper pipes that you'll see in a second. This track does actually have like a really insane like skip where you can just kind of go through the right side of the that fan right there and like skip the entire track essentially. So like as a result, like most people's like times, if they're not doing like clean like this, their times are like 17, 16 seconds because that's how long it takes at the highest level. Needless to say, Tokyo Megaplex, especially in Tricky, was like busted wide open. Alright. That block, that like cheese block as I like to call it, because it looks like a cheese and it can cheese me. I have to bump that 2 more times, and I have to hope that I got the reaction I got there, that first lap where nothing happens, because it can either like spin me out, or it can like completely just make me bail out like entirely, and it's like really ugly.
All that from a little block?
All that from a little block. It's alright. Honestly, I find both versions of Tokyo Megaplex like easier to like learn and grind because it's probably, like I said, like my history with like Crash Team Racing as like a speed game and like being accustomed to like doing laps over and over. I kind of just like view it as, okay, I just have to learn this one short thing and then do it 3 times. And as a result, it's a bit more digestible for me. Especially OG Tokyo Megaplex, that was a track I grinded so long. It holds a special place in my heart as well because it was like the first world record I ever got at the time. Okay. The other CPUs are like doing some really funny cycles and whatnot, but they didn't screw me over. That was a pretty good Tokyo. Yeah, 240 is pretty solid, actually. Oops. Alright, now for Aloha Ice Jam. This also has like another like completely like busted strat that I won't be doing, but like there are like multiple different like wormholes which are essentially just going outside of the bounds of the track and like falling until you reach a point where you can select warp back onto the track and you basically skip a large portion of it. It's got multiple of those, like some like ones that like go from like there are areas where you can jump off and land back on the track. There are other areas that are just like pure wormholes that don't land anywhere. It's got a lot of those, but I'm opting to just play it straight. This track is insanely short, so I don't need to worry about getting any letters of tricky here either. Oops.
Now you're cooking. That's the way we like it.
Right, this area can be really finicky. If I bail out on the glass, I will like, without like, more often than not, I will bug inside the glass and then it'll just kind of push me out and whatnot. So I have to be very careful when navigating here. Alright. That's unfortunate. That bonk killed the shortcut path.
Oh no.
So I'll just have to go like a slower, standard route. Alright. Navigating that area is pretty tough since it's all ice, and ice in this game is very, like, you lose your handling a lot more than even in OG. Oh, interesting. Alright. Last up is Alaska for this game. Now this is the longest track in this game, and it's also like the most difficult track, like, between either OG and tricky. Like, it was made to be like the like challenging expert track, essentially. And you'll see why. Like, the beginning is just front loaded with insanely tight jumps and whatnot.
Welcome to Alaska. Yeah, that's a good trick. Experimental.
Alright.
Time to get tricky. Front side 360.
This is another area I'm gonna have to like shut off and focus for.
Time to touch the sky. Sticking it sweet.
Not quite. That's alright. It will basically just send me to the version of right here.
Is this track all ice, pretty much?
Essentially, yes. Thank you for asking. Yes, it is. Like, there's areas of powder. There's like some areas of like standard groomed snow, but like for the most part, it is all ice, and that is part of why it's so difficult. Oops. Let's see. That wall is kind of being disagreeable, so it might not make it easy to get up there. Yeah. Yeah, since they're ahead of me, I should actually mention this game, but as well as OG, they have like very, very rubber band heavy AI, like to the point where they will like go ridiculously, like impossibly fast sometimes. So like, especially like if you make a couple of mistakes on like a track like this one, they will easily catch up. That is like the level of rubber banding it is. They toned it down in SSX 3, fortunately. Let's see.
Give yourself a high five.
I should be able to make it. Oh, not quite.
Okay, I see what you're saying about that rubber banding, and how it doesn't seem like they should be doing that.
The funny thing about this track is that like all of the difficulty is like totally front loaded. Now that I'm like at the end, it's basically just a minute of nothing. Like a minute of just straights and yeah, that's essentially it. Straights and ice. Alright, after this, I'll be switching to SSX 3.
Player one, you got the top spot. Experimental.
Alright. There we go.
Sticking it sweet. Backside 360.
Alright, and now I can switch to SSX 3.
Oh,
Now, what you'll find with this game is that, like I said, it is very different. It is like nothing like the other two. This one, like, it's basically like its own thing with how much the physics differ. A lot more movement heavy, a lot more tech, and like all being open world on one mountain essentially means it's possible to just go from the top to the bottom in one sitting, and that is what All Peak Race is. I see someone asking about the one with Mario. That will actually be SSX on Tour's GameCube version. Yeah, that one had Mario and Luigi on snowboards and Peach on the skis.
I remember that too.
Yep, and the last track on the mountain was like, I forget exactly what it's called. It was like Mushroom something, maybe like Mushroom City or something. And it was like all the paint was like mushrooms and like stars and like Mario themed things and whatnot. Alright, I'm going to be sticking with Zoe, and now I'm just going to do the All Peak Race here. And once I finish with the All Peak Race, once I get to the bottom of the mountain, that'll be time for this run actually.
And you're back with Radio Big.
Very much happy about like getting to the SSX 3 music. That's for sure. This game has incredible music. Like this is when they started using more licensed music and whatnot. So like right off the bat, this game has like different a different like goal. In OG and Tricky, you're trying to hold the straightest lines, but like in this one, you're trying to essentially like keep your speedometer maxed out at 120 kilometers, like 75 miles per hour, as much as you can. And the easiest way to do that is to like fall. Like when you're boarding, the max speed you hit is, what is it? 109, 110 kilometers an hour. 109 actually. But if you're falling, you essentially go to like the speed cap of 120 kilometers. So as a result, you want to essentially optimally fall. And then you'll also see me doing some spins when I like am on flat ground and I need to like increase my speed. That's known as spin boosting, where it's like you spin into the ground and then the animation for carving out actually accelerates you a bit. Alright, I missed that path, so I'll just... awkward spot. Yeah, following rails and like ice are like the only ways to really max out your speed in this game. Alright, not quite. I was trying to go first skip, but not getting the optimal like route kind of screwed up my lineup a little bit. And so this game has like tier Uber tricks where it's just like there's tier 1 where it's just like you take one foot off the board and like you see the speedometer is like yellow. There's tier 2, which I'm at right now, where it's like orange. And I need another letter here. There we go. This is tier 3. There we go. I got tri-rail. And I'm happy about that. So with tier 3, they couldn't like let you have like a full minute. Infinite boost in this game because it would just break the game. So instead, what they give you is a minute of infinite boost when you get tier 3. So like what you try to do is like you try to at the end of each track, you want to get your last letter at the very end essentially, so that you can use the minute to go through these stations. There we go. The stations are like little hub areas where you can like transport to other areas of the mountain, go to the lodge so you can like do customizing and whatnot. And as a result, like, they're not really totally built for going fast. Like, of course they want you to with like things like this mode, but like they're not like the races where like you will be going fast like oftentimes if you're just like playing on them. So as a result, most of the skill in like peak races usually comes from like how well you can navigate each station. Peak 3 only has one, the black station. That was in between the throne, which is like the very top of the mountain, and Gravitude, the track I'm on right now. Alright, let's see. Okay, nice. I just kind of did like a little off-limits warp so I could just land in a little bit of an optimal spot. And now I'm just going to warp here again. And that's an idea of a spin boost right there. Because I had no speed when I was like landing after the warp. So I just spun a little and used the carve out animation. Now let's see. This is for a skip. Right here. Here we go. And now I'm going to do another skip right here where I jump over a massive hip. And now I just have to get 4 letters like within the next couple jumps so that I can go through Yellow Station, the next station, with the minute of infinite boost. Alright.
I'm speechless right now of this right here of SSX 3.
This game's got a lot to it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, when you're really like in it, it's some of the most fun to play, honestly. Like, this is Yellow Station. This is going to lead into Ruthless Ridge. This is the start of Peak 2. Oops.
Man, I just pulled the shoe.
Alright. Okay, it's not an incredible spin boost, but overall, pretty decent Yellow Station, I think. Oops, did not mean to do that.
Those lessons are really paying off, huh?
There we go. Usually the minute of boost, as you see, runs out right at the beginning of a track. And then you can use like the beginning of the tracks like first few like hits to get another minute. And that usually runs out like near the end of the track, but with enough time for you to get like prepared for the next station. That is generally like the gameplay flow of all peak race once you like really start getting optimized with it. Alright, I'm gonna warp here. And then I'm going to try okay, cool. I just fell a little bit out of bounds so I could just skip a little bit. Now, something I didn't mention, because it's like not really important for this category that much, though it's still very handy, are monster tricks. They're when I do very specific flip spin combinations like that, and it gives you like much more points. It constantly, like even if it's a trick repeat, it will always fill up your meter. to max. Like, they're very, very good. Like, whether it's in like racing or show off.
Good thing I went to ballet school.
Alright. I'm a bit short, so I'm slowing down to make sure I get my letters.
This is Radio Big. Check it out, baby. Here's a kicking track from Autopilot Off.
Now this is Red Station right here. This will lead into Intimidator, which is like the second and last track on Peak 2.
I heard my pride and nothing else. Big sting.
There we go.
I am trying to follow what you're doing, and I'm having trouble. Like, you're going so quick and doing so many tricks and going everywhere, it feels like.
Yeah, you kind of start bouncing up and down and all around eventually. Oh, did I get Big Skip? I did. That's sick. I got Big Skip right here. That is kind of like not fully to like solved skip in like the sense of like how to like consistently get it. But you just kind of like, everyone has their own lineup right there, and you kind of try to like take that huge jump right there essentially. Okay.
And to be able to show it off here, wow.
Alright. Now this is tube skip. Here. Oh no! I did not get the second select warp perfect. But the idea is that you use the first warp to line yourself up, and then use the second warp to just, well, skip the tube.
Yeah, I'm dealing nothing but cream.
Alright, now I'm just going to try and do a small spiral skip right there, so I don't have to go down that little spiral. Alright, now it's going to run out right here and give me enough time to do 4 more Uber tricks to line up for the next station.
So how many stations are there in this run?
Let's see, there are 5, I believe. There's 1 on Peak 3, 2 on Peak 2, and then 2 on Peak 1. Yeah. We're heading to like the 3rd one. No, wait, the 4th one. Because we're about to enter Peak 1. The top of the mountain is like the hardest difficulty-wise. Like, that is like generally like the general gameplay flow. Like, Peak 2 is meant to be like intermediate more, and then Peak 1 is like, essentially just the easy mode. This station is Green Station. Pretty straightforward. Leads into No Jam. Another pretty straightforward track. Should be pretty smooth sailing from here. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself with that. Yep, a nice clean green station. You always hope to see those. With the Uber running right on time, actually. I gotta admit, I'm reading chat and I'm hoping Jerk It Out comes out too. Or like Play It Loud. I'm hoping to see one of those songs. Or Do Your Thing. This game has a lot of songs I adore. Ooh. A lot of the rails not agreeing with me. That's okay though. Something I did not mention, because I haven't really been doing many of them, but like, you can like slide, what's essentially known as a slide. It's when you like, if you angle your board and your body essentially backwards on like downward slopes. And it's like a very precise thing that there's no one way to do it every time. But like if you angle it that way, then like you can literally just drag, like you can like just like fall in areas where it's like you wouldn't normally be falling. You'd normally just be like riding through it. It's technically considered a glitch as a result, but like it's really like, so like it's not done in like clean, but it's like still very good in like any other category. Alright.
You're mentioning the music. I think Chad is really jamming out to it right now.
That's good. That's alright.
So, what is your favorite track in the entire series, or just Tricky or 3?
Between OG and Tricky, it has to be like Finnish Symphony, which is like the song that plays for Untracked. It's like a very nice, like, kind of like, I feel like I want to say like electronic, but also orchestral song. It's like really good. In this game, that's a good question. I think I might have just gotten a slow version of Blue Skip. Okay, yeah, I did. Did not quite get the rail, but I did get the main skip. If I kept going that way, I would have just bumped into the wall. But yeah, for this game, definitely like, I definitely feel like Do Your Thing by the Basement Jacks, like that song. Like I said, Play It Loud, Way Away, Jerk It Out. Those are like, Poor Lino as well. Those are like probably like my favorite songs in this game off the top of my head. I think that SSX on tour also has an incredible OST, by the way. In fact, I did not quite get the booth. That's unfortunate. The booths kind of like, they're like, kind of like hidden shortcuts that like take you incredibly far throughout the track. Here, there's another one here. There's 3 in this map, so. Nice, I got the optimal exit that is like, you really do not have a high chance of getting it.
Okay, that was wild.
Yeah, like I would say like I could comfortably say there's under 10% chance of getting that. Probably lower, but like I'm not trying to like lowball it. The rails have not been kind to me in SSX 3. Alright, but it's all good because we're basically at the end right here. There's one more booth right here. This one's permanent. Always sends you right there. And time is coming up. Coming up very soon, actually. Like, once I get through this path, it'll probably, like, be 5 more seconds. Alright. And time. Oh, an 18, not bad.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not too bad of a run, honestly. Yeah, that is like the SSX trilogy, like a general idea of like each game's RTA, most popular RTA run, or at least like the ones that I like showing off back to back to back. I can give a quick shout out to this entire like UBAF. I'm really happy to be here, and like I've been watching and I've been seeing a lot of like sick runs and a lot of charismatic runners, and it's just like a very, very sick thing. I love all the black excellence. I just love seeing everyone succeed like that. So I want to shout out everyone who's like been participating or like contributing to the event in any way. It's great to see. And you can find me at like twitch.tv/junior_SM. I haven't been streaming as much recently because like I've just been very busy with like life. Like I've been doing a lot of like traveling, school, and all of that, like getting ready to like graduate this semester from college and all that. But I'm trying to get back into streaming, I think. I feel like I would like to like get back into playing these games, grinding them, you know, maybe try going for more like PBs or world records or whatnot. And also quickly shout out the SSX community for like existing at all, frankly. Like I love that there are just a bunch of people that love the game still, even after all this time, and just whether it's like racing or freestyle or modding or like passing or anything, like I just like to see all the activity and whatnot. So like shout out to everyone who like still keeps SSX alive in their own way as well. And if anyone wants to like join the SSX community, I do believe SSX3's speedrun.com page has a link to the Discord. I don't recall if the others do, but I know for a fact that one does. And yeah, you can find kind of everyone there. But yeah, thank you for having me. I think that's all for me.
Thank you, Junior, for that amazing nostalgic run that brought back, you know, memories of, you know, everything from knocking down opponents to just great beats, you know. But thank you for that. It was amazing. GG again on your run.
Thank you.
And thank you for closing out day 3 of Unapologetically Black and Fast. This is the end of day 3. We have one more day. I told y'all before Junior's run to look at the schedule to see what runs you're looking forward to. So we're going to be starting back again tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern to watch UBF Live. There's so many good runs. Pleasantly Twisted running Time Spinner. None to One coming again with Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Glitchless with Sonic. Actually, we just have another Sonic block again. We have a Mega Man block, a Pokemon block, more Resident Evil. Just so many good runs. So please come back tomorrow. We thank you for tuning into UBAF. If you miss if you miss out on any of the runs, we will be showcasing a replay of today's runs right after we close out. So again, tell me what runs you want to see tomorrow. I'm personally looking forward to the whole day. So can you top that? But please come back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we appreciate everyone who's run up to this far. We appreciate you, chat, for showing up for Black Joy and speedrunning this weekend, and hope to see you tomorrow. And I have been Moki Jones 10, and I love y'all peeps, and I will see y'all tomorrow during my Pokemon Scarlet run. So, and in chat, cause I'll be in chat as well. So, love y'all peeps.